Looks like I got a marker on my lip. There we go. Oh, got it off. Keep it real, right? we're not gonna fudge anything here. Anyways, welcome back. Now I'm working on building a walking beam trailer. So I finished my 6 pulleys. 4 of them have tire rims, and 2 of them I was able to use the rubber boat rollers, like I was saying. So I'll show them when I mount them in the forest, so you can see exactly, you get a better idea. If you can't quite comprehend what they're doing, it's all good. I'm going to show you once it's in the forest, once we're pulling tubing, which should be interesting. So today what I'm doing now is I'm prepping my steel that I'm going to be building my trailer, and this trailer is going to be strictly for tubing and wiring, because if it was just Canis Valley maple over at Canis Valley for 1,000 taps, then I wouldn't bother. I would use my excavator, lift it up with a rod and a couple of straps like I did in the previous 2 years, and lift the roll of tubing and pulling as is, right? And then once it's done, it's done. And in 12 years, we would redo it. But because we have the property in Coe Hill, which starts probably next year, we have another 20,000 taps to do over there. So this trailer is going to get a lot of use. And then, you know, growth, we're not stopping. So the trailer is heavy duty. I've been thinking about it for about 1.5 years, and I'm finally, I think I've worked out the kinks, and I'll work out some more as I see it built and use it in the forest. But now I've put enough thought into it that I have to get it into motion. And especially this year, because the rolls of tubing are big. I think the roll of, I have a roll of 3/4 inch tubing that is 3,500 feet, and it weighs about 650 pounds. So even that's getting a little heavy for the Mini X, especially when it's further out and it's hanging there and you're pulling on top of that. That's a lot of pull there. So that's why I want to build this trailer. It's going to have a hydraulic lift on it so that there's no struggling. It's going to pick up the rolls, put them onto the trailer, hold it there, and then we can pull. Same with the high tensile wire that we pull from tree to tree to suspend the tubing on. So I'm gonna make, I don't think I made any videos of that before, so I'm gonna try to make more videos of that this year, of how the main lines go up. Last year I showed you guys how the main line was going up with small little wires. You basically put a wire on, twist it, and go on every 12 inches. So this year I've got a new tool coming in. I ordered it last week. It's a rebar tie, and basically just puts the small wire around the tubing to the high tensile wire right there in the field. So I can basically do thousands of feet in a long day, or a couple days at the very least. So, or very most rather. So anyways, so like I said, right now I'm prepping steel. I finished drilling holes for where my axles are going for the wheels. So there's another one right over there, and this is going to be the pivot point that hooks onto the trailer frame itself right here, so that this is going to teeter through the rough forest and the trails. So for the mechanics out there, you guys know you would use your stabilizers, your leaf springs. I don't want to do that on this one, just because the terrain is too rough. So the idea came up on YouTube. I kept researching it, and then I looked on how to do it, where to buy the parts, and I picked everything up. So that's what I'm figuring out and doing right now. So I've drilled all my holes. I've done both sides, the left and the right. Right now I'm using what's called a flap disc, this guy right here, to sand off and burn off any oil and previous finish or rust from this steel. So I'm bringing it down to a shine like this, so that the primer will adhere to the steel. So my uncles are body men, so I'm gonna they might have something to say about how I'm doing it, so I'm gonna probably check in with them see what's up. So anyways, I'm gonna carry on with this and then move on to welding the axles onto these. And they have to be perfectly straight, because if one wheel is off, then I would be constantly fighting with the gator as I'm pulling it, and then premature tire wear, axle wear, etc., etc. So that's it for now. On to the next clip. So right now I'm going to check with a simple carpentry square. Just going to check to see what is my square. Oh, I see, okay. All right, good. So I'm going to throw a tack on here. You remember from the previous video, or previous clip I should say, I talked about a tack. So tack is just to hold it in place. It's by no means structural or good for strength. It's just to hold it in place so you can see it, and weak enough that you can tap it with a hammer and kind of bend it into the right place that you have to put it in, provided you have the right tack. So I'm gonna give it a shot right here and see what happens with that. I need to square off my X and my Y axis. So I need to look at both sides. I'm gonna throw one tack right now, check it, and then either redo the tack or definitely probably bend it into whatever space or place it's gotta go, and then throw another tack to make sure it's held in the right spot after that. I wish I could show you guys from above, but I just don't have the camera hardware, the tripod, if you will, to do so. So hopefully you can get enough of a good idea as to what I'm doing. There are better ways of doing this. I just don't have them here in my shop. So, by eyeball it is. Okay, so I need to cut that. I do need to cut that tack off. I'm too far over this way, so I need to cut and then start over. So, I'm gonna do this. I know it's not as efficient as it could be, but it's the way that I'm doing it for this trailer. All right, so I got really lucky. That was the first one I did over there. Then I turned this around. So I got that one in 2 tries. I got one of this try in the first try. So beginner's luck, honestly. I got really lucky there. That's nice and square, and that's nice and square, and it's square with the other one. So it's very close. It's probably like a half a millimeter off, but by eye, I think that's as good as I'll get it. And for the trails that are muddy and slick, I think that's pretty good. So I'll leave it. All right, so this is all 4 hubs welded onto my 2x2 beams, 2x2 inch square tubing beams. So I've got some 1 1/8 shafts in the middle welded. This is all steel, and then everything's welded both sides, and that's what it'll look like when it's all done. So be one of these on either side. Excuse me, with one hand. So that's it. So then the idea is that the pivoting point will be this shaft right here. That'll go up onto another square tubing that'll raise the trailer higher. And then therefore these tires can go up independently, whether it's the front one or the back one, over, let's say, some short stumps, some short rocks, some bumps, without having the trailer basically having to do this. So now, because each wheel is semi-independent, they can roll on a walking beam like that. The trailer will now stay a little more level, so it won't, tilt so much. It'll just be minor movements. So that way there's less, the center of gravity will stay closer to its center rather than possibly flipping a roll of tubing over. Let's say some of the edges of the hills, or that we're going, especially the ones in Coe Hill that we're going to encounter. So because of this here, that'll help prevent a lot of that, prevent accidents and better wear and tear over time for our equipment. So this concludes the first part of this trailer build. I gotta take a quick break, and then I'll come back hopefully in a few days, maybe no later than a week, to finish the frame, which is everything is downhill from here. This was the hardest part. This took about 5 hours by the time I drilled holes, had to go get new hole saws, new pilot bits. So I had to drill, was it 3, 6, 9, 12 holes altogether. So 3 in each side of each piece of 2-inch square tubing, and then cut the shaft, and then weld everything, make sure everything was straight, in alignment with each other, and that's it. So 5 hours for this so far. That doesn't include the time that I went to go get it, which was I probably spent a total day so far between multiple suppliers, getting parts over the last year, looking at it, drawing it, etc. So so hopefully within a week I'll get the rest of the trailer done, and that's it.